Welcome to Life Beyond BS, where we ditch the belief systems and the bullshit and get real about life. Here it's about awareness, choice, and creating joy that actually lasts. No perfection, just honest talk and powerful change. I'm your host, Heather McNally, and let's get into it. Hi, friends, and welcome back to Life Beyond BS, where we go beyond the belief systems and, the bullshit that society puts upon us and tells us who we need to be. I'm Heather McNally, your host, and today we are welcoming our guest, Tim Gillette. Tim is a marketer, speaker, and founder of Simple Easy Websites. He helps small business owners turn their online presence into a lead generating machine. When he's not building websites or teaching marketing, you'll find him spending time with family, hosting podcasts, or helping entrepreneurs take action and grow their business. Tim, thank you so much for being here today.
Well, it's fun to actually show up and have fun with somebody online.
I
So
know, I love it. We actually got to have a great conversation, I don't know, 2 weeks ago maybe, and we definitely had a lot in common and a lot of fun chatting. So
you're making me feel
wonderful.
good. That was a great conversation.
It
Here.
was. It really was. Yeah. And very authentic and real. And I love that. So I want to know a little bit about who you are at your heart and soul level.
Well, I don't like to put labels on myself. That's the type person I am. I could say um, but I've always been what they call a lifestyle solopreneur.
Mhm.
All right. I know solopreneur can be a curse word, but no, that's who I am. I'm like this guy who likes to run it all, do it all. And when I can't do it, I'll outsource it. But I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. And that goes back to age 11.
Mhm.
All right. I didn't want to work for somebody else. And I have had that, that comes up, down. But I have been that entrepreneur at heart. That's who I really am. I'm always creating, always trying to build, always trying to figure out something. And that's who I am at heart. And that's just, I'm the type of guy. I think we made the joke before we went live is I'm going to screw it up 6 times before I get it right. And I'm just going to keep trying.
I
All
feel
right.
that.
Yeah, yeah. I, and yes, I do get distracted, and yes, I do get discouraged by it too. So I mean, don't think that. I mean, yeah, boy, he's all no. Tim's a screw up of screw ups, and yes, I do have some very down days and some very
Well,
upset times. But that's who I am, and
yeah.
I've learned to accept that at this age.
I think everybody has those down moments
Yeah.
and down days. And one thing that I always say is you need to feel what you feel. Just don't
Hmm.
live there. Don't put your roots there. Don't stay there forever. But you have to feel your feelings. And I truly do think that it's what gives us the opportunity to really appreciate the beauty in life and the wonderful
Hmm.
times is when you have the times that you go, oh, well, that sucked. I had a bad day. I didn't get the response I wanted from somebody. Something didn't work out, but it's kind of fail forward, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's fail forward. But I tell you, one of the things when you're in that position, I have 7 people on speed dial.
Mm,
That all I gotta do is click a button because I'm having a bad day.
yeah.
And one of them, one of them, he was a Broadway musician and stuff. His name's James Barber, and James is always, Tim, call me. If it's a bad day, call me.
Mhm.
I would rather talk to you on your bad day than to show up at your funeral.
Absolutely. And that
So
is
yeah,
the most beautiful thing that you can have is those people in your
yeah,
life that you can be having wonderful times with, but also share the hardest moments of your life and they stand by you and they help lift you up.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I some days I wish they can come babysit my grandson. I love my grandson. Really, he's sweet and adorable. But on the days, it seems like I always have to have babysitting duty on the days that I have like 10 client projects that I have to work on.
Of course. Of course. Yeah.
Always. And
Yeah.
it's like I did this once. Yeah, I'm supposed to be done with this part.
And somehow it came right back,
And
huh?
somehow it comes back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but
But he's lucky
anyway.
to have you because even amongst all the things that you have going on, you're still there,
Yeah.
just like
So
your 7 contacts are, which is
yeah,
beautiful.
true. Very, very true. So
Yeah.
anyway.
So can you tell me, was there a time in your life where you had the BS, whether that's the belief systems or the bullshit, that kind of stopped you from living your life?
I'm going to tell you the truth is it's one of the reasons I'm creating what I'm creating right now is the BS. And
Mm,
that is, okay, first of all, I got into the coaching speaking industry um, because Zig Ziglar, I used to wash his car. And I knew Zig the person, not Zig the speaker, the author. That's who I knew. I knew Zig the real person. Went to church with him. A lot of interesting things I did with Zig Ziglar. But I wouldn't say Zig Ziglar and I, we were tight. We were best friends. No, because if you ever met Zig, you felt like he was your best friend.
yeah.
I got into this industry because of him. And I want to tell you some of the BS that I've been around over the past 16 years of being in this industry. In 2021 or 2022, I think it was 2021. It might have been 2022 that I literally sat in um my mentor's living room and actually said, "That's it. I'm done. I quit. I'm not putting up with this bullshit anymore.
Mm,
This industry has me burned out. I'm done. I'm gone." And I
wow.
was and I was that ready to walk away and leave.
Mm,
And I'm in his living room. There's like 15 other members of his elite program there. And I'm his prize student saying, "That's it. I'm not putting up this shit anymore. I'm out. I
wow.
quit." And he paused the meeting. Whoa, 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 we're taking a break. Tim, come with me real quick. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I went through a thing because I was out on the road mostly at that point in time. I didn't have the website design company at that point. Was out speaking and it worked as a coach. I don't like calling myself a coach,
Hmm.
but coaching and mentoring people, both in online marketing and in life and business. And I had gotten burned out. All right. I was not doing that. And I basically said, that's it. So I took a step back from speaking for a few years and said, no, I'm not going to do this if I can't do it my way.
Mm,
Not going to do it. So, I mean, I put up with the bullshit and I'm right now doing a lot of calling out of a lot of coaches
hmm.
and speakers who are playing that BS game. This game we have to play. I'm sorry, I don't believe in we have to play any game,
Mm,
right? And I'm not looking for a million clients. I'm looking for a select few who want to go somewhere in life that I can help them go. That's it.
hmm. Hmm.
So I'm calling out a lot of it, and a lot of people are upset with me about it. A lot of people are like, okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah. A lot of people are my coaches and mentors are like, yeah, because they're not part of the bullshit.
Hmm.
They're the coaches who really help me. All right. And I put a post out on my Facebook about 2 weeks ago now, and actually said something along the lines of you know what I mean. I sounded like I was calling out a community. It really did. It sounded like I was calling someone individually out, but I wasn't. I just said, well, how long would you stay involved in the community if this was happening?
Hmm.
Scenario. And the mentors I have, one of them, I mean, he didn't respond when I seen him on the next call. Everybody's like, hey, he just said, hey, are you okay? One of the people in the organization that people thought it was from, the lady there called me, hey, are you okay?
Mm,
All right. It's the people who called me and asked me if it was okay. I thought was great.
yeah.
All right. There were people who I don't work with anymore. All right. Or have been in communities of mine who actually came on and thought they would use my post to call out who they thought the bad guy was.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, it's not what you think it is, but
Hmm.
whatever. Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. And there's people in that who read that feed going, yeah, look at these people. Well, it's me calling out the bullshit, is what it
Hmm.
is. It really is. I'm sick of the bullshit of the people telling everyone, hey, I'm $1 million coach.
Mm,
That basically says, well, I've got 10 clients who paid me $100,000 a year. Great. Did you help those clients make that money back?
yeah.
That's when I'm starting to call out. I'm not here to beat on my chest and say how much money I made as a coach or speaker. I'm here to tell you what I help my clients get.
Hmm.
And that's what everything in the coaching, speaking space be is what you help others get, not
Yeah.
what you help beat on your chest and say you get.
It's surfing.
Yeah. And that's when you say the BS,
Mm,
that's the BS that Tim's starting to call out because I don't want to deal around it anymore.
yeah.
And I'm getting back to some of the stuff in my roots and my personal roots is why. And I'm putting it all out in teachings now,
Hmm.
going, this is who I'm helping. You want help with this, I'm here to help.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and this came about, Heather, because I have a client in my mastermind. She's been in here for about 8 years now, who went through, I could call out the names of six-figure, high dollar, guru coaches she hired
Hmm.
and got nothing. One of them that I know, and I know this coach personally, she paid money to, and that coach said, I don't get you. Didn't give her money back, but I don't get you, so I can't help you.
Wow.
And she did not pay like, $5 for it. No, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. She paid several $1,000s.
Yeah.
And I don't get you. And she went through all those people and she came to me. And within 6 months, we put her together in a system and had her on a TV show,
Wow.
which is all she wanted.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm calling out the BS. So yeah,
Hmm.
I've been in it because I've had to sit there and follow it with the, hey, yeah, you need a life coach. You don't need a fucking life coach. Sorry, I should watch my language on your show,
It's
but
okay.
you don't need a life coach.
Yeah.
All right. People who want better in life should get a life coach, but you
Hmm.
don't need a life coach. You don't need a business coach. But if you want to do better in life, you'll hire a business coach.
Yeah.
And when we put it in those things and we cut the BS out, oh my God, does it change how we help people? So I hope that
Absolutely.
answered your question.
I think that's great. I think that's fantastic. I love, so this is what I love. I love authenticity. I love
Hmm.
someone being real. I love the rawness. Dropping the F-bomb, bring it because this is coming from your heart and your soul. This is coming
Hmm.
from your personal life, your personal experiences with other people, seeing what's going on in the industry. And the
Hmm.
industry, is something that's going to change just like everything else, like
Yeah.
AI, like, all technology. And I think it's really important to be able to say these things
Hmm.
because we love to hide behind the perfectionism and the people pleasing and the I need this many clients, so I'm going to try to appeal to everybody. And, no, we need to appeal to the people that are being called to us because we're putting our real, raw, authentic selves out there.
Yeah.
For example, I do coaching and I don't love saying coach either, but that's where people understand.
That's what people label us. I
Right.
get it, but it's not like I don't like the term,
Yeah.
but I get it because this is what I didn't know I never heard the term business coach or life coach
Hmm.
before Zig. And
Okay.
actually, when Zig sat down with me and I was trying to figure out my life steps and work, he told me how I was coaching people in my industry. And he said, Tim, that's called coaching. People pay money for that.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, if I'd known that, I'd have been charging.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. Sorry
And
about that.
no,
Yeah.
that's okay. And like I said, don't apologize. For me, I went through a very abusive childhood. I had a duality in my household where my father was my abuser and I consider him my monster. And my mom was beautiful and loving, but also a flawed human being. And what it gives you in life is these horrible, belief systems. This is who I am. I'm a piece of crap. I don't belong. Nobody cares about me. And so I lived with that for so many years, but slowly just kind of like figured out different parts of it. There weren't
Hmm.
coaches then that I knew of. It wasn't a thing. And, I went to therapy. I had really good friends that helped me. I had some really bad friends that, hurt me. And why I'm doing what I'm doing now is because I want people to be able to see the bullshit in their lives, the belief systems that they've been putting up with that they may not even understand, but they know that they're not happy and
Yeah.
they don't have joy in their lives. And I literally say, if I can go from miserable, suicidal, hating myself to joy. And I don't mean I don't have bad moments and bad days because I do, but serious depression to a place of I'm so happy most of the time and I truly enjoy helping people and connecting with people, then that, call me a coach. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I want
Yeah.
people to see that you can go through that, but like get rid of the bullshit. There's so much of it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is. And you know what I mean? It's for some of us to find that spot, we had to be, I hate to say this word, we had to be abused.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
For some of us to find that spot, basically the truth is we had to be harmed.
Hmm.
And I remember going through a life enrichment seminar, all right, probably 10 years before I got into the industry. And I went through this seminar. And one of the things in that seminar that they did at the very end, they get people to look at it and said, hey, we're going to go to church as a group on Sunday morning. And that church just happens to meet in this building. Okay, so we come as a group and go to church. And one of the things they said in that meeting was, well, we want to talk to you about church because so many people are harmed by church.
Mm,
It wasn't the church who harmed you. It was someone who went to church who harmed
mhm,
you.
mhm,
And when it comes to life, it is never a podcast, which we are on right now, that harms you. It
mm.
was a podcaster who harmed you.
Yeah.
And I think when we understand that we are a flawed
Mm,
human race, all right, and to put biblical terms in, we're all sinners, right? That means we can't always do it perfectly.
mhm,
All right. It's those people who understand that concept and go, well, I can't do it perfectly because God said, but God did say that I can always try to improve.
mhm,
All right. He said that in the Bible. All right. Yeah, I can try to improve. I can try to make my way better. I can study. I think the word is study to show thyself or proved or something like that. But you study to get better.
mhm,
It doesn't say that you ever be perfect. And the most unique thing I can tell you about my experience with Zig Ziglar was, and literally, um, um, Julie Ziegler and I talked about it when she was on my podcast. I talked about when her dad was told, when Zig was told by the doctors, Zig, you've got months to live. Your time's up on this earth. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. And Zig went, yay, I get to graduate.
mm,
And I think when you look at life that way, when I was in high school, I wasn't trying to build the perfect company. No, I was trying to figure out how to get an A in math.
mhm.
You know, it's like the things that you're going through, go through them.
Yeah.
All right. Because it's not a perfect world. All right. You're trying to get through one thing. And I guarantee you, if you and I talked about our problems we have today and then came back a year from now, the problems we have today would be the furthest thing from our mind. If we go back a year ago and talk about the problems we had, no, they're all different.
Mhm.
And that's what life is about is we're going through one problem at a time, you know? But there's a fun thing to that. Can I bring the fun side out of that?
Please do,
I'm going to
because
control
that's what
you.
life is. Life is the
That's what,
duality.
yeah. I recall going to get my first mortgage, not my first house, my first mortgage. And I was 56 years old at the time. I mean, I'm almost 60 now, right? Getting my first mortgage. And the lady at the bank, which was the bank we used, said, oh my God, you're getting your first house. I'm like, no, I'm getting my first mortgage.
Mm,
She goes, how do you buy a house without a mortgage? I said, I learned after two failed marriages that when you have a good year as an entrepreneur, you pay for the roof over your head. That means you pay cash for the house. Because if you don't, the next bad year, when you don't have a roof over your head, the wife leaves. She doesn't stick around. And the lady goes, really? She said, took you two marriages to do that? I said, I'm sorry, I wasn't the brightest guy in the marriage, you know?
Well, and that's something that I love to talk about is you literally are the result of everything that's happened in your
Yeah,
life.
yeah,
And I don't love to say what's happened to you because, that puts us in victim mentality where you
mhm,
said, a lot of times we experience abuse and that's how we learn. It's life experiences.
yeah,
And some of them suck and some of
yeah,
them are beautiful and they're everywhere in between. But, you have to learn things. And how
yeah,
else do you learn things? By going through shit.
yeah. You go through it. So, I mean, I know, I talked a little bit about some of the stuff we've gone through, but I mean,
Mm,
high school, I was not the popular kid in high school. I was bullied, but I don't believe in anti-bully programs. They don't work. I don't care how many anti-bully programs. No, all right. Does it suck being bullied? Hell yes, it does.
mm,
But if you learn and teach that kid how to stand up or stand through those situations, they will be a greater person later in life,
mm. And I
right?
think what's important is having that like you have those 7 people that you can reach out
Yeah.
to, having parents that are there, somebody that's there for you
Yeah.
that helps you through it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what you should be teaching the kid
Mhm.
who's being bullied. Have your own thing. Yes, I was bullied, but I had in school, I had 7 kids that
Mm.
were my friends. And you know what? We were all bullied. You know what we did? When we were done, we went over to McDonald's, we had ourselves a hamburger and cried over it for a couple of minutes, and we talked about what we were going to do later that night.
Mm.
We got over it. We didn't stay in the situation.
It's
Now,
feeling it and
yeah,
moving on.
yeah. Now, bully my kid, and I'll become a mean old man. Trust me. All right. But that's just the way I am. I'm human.
Yeah.
All right. But I'm not behind this. Well, we need to stop this or stop that. No, some of this process is what's going to build that child. And I hate, and I truthfully, I got to say this. I'm not saying go bully kids. I'm against it. I don't like it. But what's happening to that child is going to make that child possibly our next president. What's going to make that child possibly the next leader that creates an industry that saves cancer.
Mm.
Cure, you understand? The process is what I'm getting at is the processes we go through. Some of them are freaking mean,
Mhm.
awful. But those people who go through that valley usually create outrageously huge things. All right. Let's pick on Elon Musk for a minute. All right. Whether you like him, you dislike it. The guy was probably bullied and picked on as a kid. I mean, he doesn't look like he was like the buddy buddy as a kid, right?
Oh no, I just saw something about how he was severely,
Okay.
yeah, even by his father.
All right. But we wouldn't have the electric car industry we have today if Elon Musk, all right, gave up and quit.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Think about the things we wouldn't have. All right. And he's just one person. And we could do that with anybody you like,
Well,
dislike, or
you can
whatever.
even
All right.
talk about Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins,
Tony
when I was
Robbins.
younger,
Yes.
I thought, well, he must have been born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He had, special
No,
things. He was homeless. He had 4 different fathers. Yeah, the list goes on, and look at what he created because of it.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I went through a homeless phase. I sold a
Mhm.
company in 2004. In 2000, by the end of 2005, I was living in my station wagon. And I remember because the first job I got was working at Starbucks. And because of the child support I owed, my take home pay was $70 a week.
Wow.
This was in 2005 and 2006. $70 a week. And I said to myself, I will find a way. I'm broke, but I won't always be.
Hmm.
I will find a way to come out of this. I don't know how that way is going to be, but I'm going to get up tomorrow and figure out tomorrow. Get up tomorrow, figure out tomorrow. Get up tomorrow, figure out tomorrow. And that's how I walked my way through it. There are so many people out there when I see this, like, oh, well, I'm homeless. It doesn't matter. I'm never going to make it. I lived in a station wagon, a 1989 Ford Taurus station wagon. I ate McDonald's dollar menu. All right. McDonald's dollar menu back then, it was you can buy a dollar McDouble sandwich and a dollar McChicken sandwich, and that made a very good lunch. Do the same thing for dinner, and it was $2.24 for lunch, $2.24 for dinner, and that's how I got by.
Mm.
For some people, they won't try to find how do I get by?
Yeah.
Get the survival, get the things done, then move on to after you got survival covered, and then move on, how do I build? Right? And most people won't do that because they will stay stuck in
Mm.
victim mode.
It's mindset.
It is. It is
Yeah.
mindset. I was once on a podcast with Dean Cain and he asked me about my mindset. I said, my mindset's a woo-woo thing. Just get up and do it. He says,
Mm.
so that's your mindset. I said, I guess you could say that, Dean.
Well, there is definitely, things that people call woo-woo a lot
Yeah,
are actually very scientifically
they
backed.
are. They
If you
are.
sit down and really look at it, talking about vibration and energy and the law of attraction, and it's all real.
It
People
is.
think of it as woo-woo, and I think if you go back years and well, millennia, you'd find people were surviving differently because their mindset and they understood this. I
Yeah.
think we've gotten so far away from it, but mindset is all what you choose.
I think what it is we think we have to put a label onto it.
Mm.
And I'll bet you 100 years ago or 200 years ago, they didn't put a label onto it.
No.
They went through the same things. They just didn't put a label on it.
Right.
All right. And I think we got a society that has to put a label onto it. I'm going to use this. I have to have a business card.
Right.
We have to put a label on it.
Right.
I don't like putting labels onto things
Yeah.
anymore. You know
Which
what I
is
mean?
why we're considered coaches, which I actually have gone back and forth on my title. And I'm like, I don't love any of them because I don't feel like they're all encompassing of what it is that I am and who I am and what I do.
Yeah. Well, I
But
mean,
for
here's
people to understand, you got the label.
you got to put the label on. Well, here's the other thing is all right, when it comes to your company, do you have to tell everybody you're the CEO?
Mm.
I don't. I
I
I
don't
I,
actually.
I always make up some weird term to make people go, "What's that?"
Mm-hmm.
All right. And like now, I have a website design company. I still do speaking motivationally and still do that, but because of the new path I'm going down with my speaking and my programs, I tell people at the website side, well, I'm the lead mechanic. I'm the mechanic who helps you get leads at all right at Simply Z websites.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to like my whole program that we're creating that goes back down to my real roots is I grew up around a mechanic family.
Mm-hmm.
So everything we're creating right now is I'm relabeling all these programs that I wrote years ago. And it's like the four-stroke business process to actually have your business run, right? And it's just built on a four-stroke engine, right? Same concept of your business. If your business isn't
Mm-hmm.
doing this, then I have the personal growth, gear shift.
Mm-hmm.
As you grow, you're able to shift gears up.
Mm-hmm.
Goes back to all mechanics because of the fact that I grew up around a mechanic family.
Yeah.
As a kid, I wanted to be a mechanic, and my father turned me away from it because he was a mechanic and he thought he wanted a better life for me.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't mean about it. He just, I want a better life for you, and this is why I'm going to tell you to go do something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have my root back in cars. I'm the only brother who went the root back in cars
Mm-hmm.
or trucks. So my dad was a diesel mechanic. But one of those things that you learn about your life and how you grow is what got me. And that goes back to 2009. My dad passed away in 2010. But in 2009, I was on a motorcycle road trip with friends and we were in South Texas and my one friend's bike broke down. So another friend of ours drove up from North Texas up here down with his truck and trailer down to South Texas to pick his bike up. Loads the bike up, loads the trailer. Everybody gets in the truck. He pulls the truck out of the parking lot of the hotel and the truck stops and stalls and
Yeah.
won't restart.
Oh, God.
It's a truck with a diesel engine.
Mm.
And the guy's like, "Well, I don't know what it is." I said, "Well, I know a diesel mechanic. He's in the Pocono Mountains in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. I can call him real quick and we'll ask him if he can figure it out." So I call my dad. My dad is in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania with it. Luckily, we had the first version of the iPhone at that point. And my dad says to me, "Okay," he says, "I want you to hold, I want you to," he asked me what engine it was, what kind of truck it was. And he said, "I want you to hold the phone next to," and I did. And he said, "Then tell him to crank it."
Mm.
And my dad, that with three areas, I held the phone and cranked it. And my dad said he has a bad injection pump. He's going to need to replace the injection pump and all the injectors on the engine. When he goes to the dealership, tell him that it's a bad injection pump and they'll know what to do. My dad never seen that truck.
Mm.
He was right.
Wow.
From over 1,800 miles away, he diagnosed the problem over a
Yep.
phone call.
Mm-hmm.
That taught me about how many times I can help people fix their lives and fix their business.
Yeah.
So I've helped people turn around their business in 90 days.
Wow.
You know what I mean? When we talk about coaching,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, I don't want to label myself as a coach. I want to make the mechanic of success. I want to be a success mechanic is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what we have to do when we actually label ourselves rather than putting that label, come up with something that makes people go, "Oh, wow, yeah,
What's that? Yeah.
yeah." Because when I started out, I had long hair. If you go back and look at the
Mhm.
old picture, I had long hair. I looked like Tom Petty. And I said to Zig Ziglar, "Well, I'm going to get a haircut, buy a suit and tie." And Zig said, "No, no, 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 no.
That's not
Don't you
you.
dare.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be you."
Yeah.
And I think that's where we lost a lot of you. We have, if you remember, probably about 10 years ago was the influx of click funnels.
Mm.
And I'm not pick Russell Brunson. I'm not picking on you, but Russell Brunson and click funnels, they were known for saying rip off and duplicate. What um, they meant was is find something that's working and adapt it to your business,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, we have in the coaching world, we have rip off and duplicate. Tony Robbins did it this way. I'll just do it that way.
Hmm.
Sig did it this way. I'll do it this way. You know, do you like that? No, to me,
No.
that's not how I solve problems.
No. And there are definitely lots of people out there that say this is exactly what you need to do. This is how you do this. And it's a one size fits all kind of do this X, Y, and Z, and it's going to work. And that's not how we are made. We are not all the same. We're all different. Everybody has a different perspective. Two people can have similar abuse and respond completely differently, such as myself and my brother, and you have a completely different life. And we can't do everything duplicated like that. There are things you can duplicate and things you cannot. And you as a person, you cannot duplicate.
No, no, Heather, I love you, but I'm really not trying to be another Heather.
Yeah,
I am not.
right.
And that's the best way I can think I can put that for people to understand is I could hold you on such high regards, Heather, but I
Hmm.
can never be the best I can be as a number two, Heather.
Yep.
I can be a number one, Tim.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's, I think, where we get lost in that because we look up to Tony Robbins, and Tony is great. Tony has done great things and helped great people on this
Hmm.
planet. But I do not wish to be another Tony Robbins. I do not want to be Tony Robbins part two.
Yeah.
All right. And I've always said this in the competitive space. Do you remember the Coke versus Pepsi challenge? It was done many, many
Yes.
years ago.
Yes.
All right. I have had this theory, and I know, like, my wife and I have even talked about it. And that is, I think if you have to call out your competition in your marketing, you automatically believe you're number two.
Hmm.
Because I don't think now I could teach lessons from their philosophy and implement it better. But for me to sit there, all right, and compare myself to Heather,
Mm.
that's automatically me saying, well, yeah, I'm in the same industry as Heather, but I'm number two. Heather's number one.
Hmm.
And I know you like that, Heather. I know you want me to say you're number one and all, but anyway,
Sure, I'll take
you'll take
it.
what you get, right? But that's where we come into, all right, we need to build our own number one.
Yeah.
And that's the sweet spot I have loved being in.
Hmm.
It also means that I've also been broker than most people through the process because it doesn't mean that you're always going to be the Elon Musk or what's the guy with Amazon, Jeff,
Oh,
whatever his name
Bezos.
is. Yeah,
Bezos. Yep.
you're not always going to be the number one, all right? But if you create an industry that you are number one in helping people,
Hmm.
then you are in your authentic place to help people.
Yeah.
And truthfully, I mean, you got to help people through you need to be 2 to 3 steps ahead of what they're doing and still
Hmm.
helping them come up.
Yep.
So one of the things I'm also a real estate investor. It's not something I teach, but so many people out there are like, well, they have one good deal in real estate and then they go out and teach real estate.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah.
imagine that having one good solution in your business and now you go teach it.
Hmm.
I'm not that. That's, I think, where coaching has gotten to. That's the BS
Yeah.
part too.
Yeah.
Coaching has got there. No, I think you should hire a mentor who's been there, done that,
Hmm.
still going through it.
Yep. Yep.
So, have you ever seen, oh gosh, what's her name? I can't think of her name now. She lives in the Carolinas, and I can see her face right now, but I can't see her name. She's a great coach. So I heard her speak at an event, and she talked about a situation that happened at like a Waffle House. And she made this sound like this was something that was this great intervention that she helped go through and everything. And what the truth was is at the end of it, she told the truth. She said that happened last week.
Mm.
She wasn't a coach who had this three set story. She comes in, well, this crowd, I'm going to teach this story. No, she was able to teach you from the lessons she was going through last week.
Yeah.
That's how we help people,
Right. Right.
right? And I'm sure it's why you have a show like this. Is that's
Hmm.
where we're calling out the BS. That's where we're trying to help people, because you know what? I can tell you how I victoriously beat whatever, but
Hmm.
next week's a whole other challenge.
Yeah. Yep. And
Always is.
you're always going through things, you're always learning from them. And yeah, I think it's important to understand how to connect with people and communicate with people. And so education can bring you some of that. Absolutely.
Mhm.
And I believe in constant education because I love to learn. However, that doesn't mean it's going to land. coming from me if I didn't have some kind of experience to be able to relate to it. And
Yeah.
so I love to work with people that are just, they've gone through whatever it is that they've gone through, but they just don't believe that in themselves. Maybe they just don't feel worthy. Maybe they're just living on autopilot because they don't know what else to do. And I can bring my experiences and say, I hope you haven't had this experience, but that's what it made me feel. So tell me what made you feel this way so that we can start working on getting past that and focusing on, all right, let's rewrite that story and go forward from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important. I'm wondering for you, you started out, you mentioned starting out wanting to be an entrepreneur at age 11. So you're really young. What was it that you were interested in doing at that point? Was it having your own, shop and being a mechanic? What kind of thing were you looking to do?
Um, I don't think at 11 I had that down. What turned me into an entrepreneur at age
Kind of
11
young.
was my father getting laid off a lot.
Okay.
And I remember the night that it clicked in my brain, and my mom doesn't remember this night, my brothers don't remember this night, I do. And I think it was something in my brain that night that knew when dad came home early, dad didn't come home until like 11 o'clock. I was asleep in bed at that time. Dad came home early. I remember hearing the sound of his truck door. He had a 1973, 74 F-150. They have a certain click to that door
Mm-hmm.
that I still remember to this day. I heard that click and I'm like, wait a minute, Dad's not supposed to be home yet. And I come downstairs to Dad telling Mom I've been laid off again. Something in my mind went, we're not going on vacation this summer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to wear these same clothes next year for school. I'm going to be picked on again because, you know what I mean? I have, my cousin's hand-me-downs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those things all I think added up in my mind. And that's when it started to click that going, I will never let a company do this to me and my family. Because I mean, it was a tough area. And I mean, a tough way to grow up. You know what I mean? We talk about how many times in this, if you grew up in the 70s and 80s, you didn't have the luxurious life we have today,
Mm-hmm.
right? But those times was what made me go, I will not let that happen to me.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to work for another company. And I remember um, it was about that time in school that the school I was going to was like this new progressive type school that you worked at your own type pace type
Mm-hmm.
deal. And I was always behind. My parents um, took me to a school, a man at the school to do testing on me. And the analogy testing come back. Basically, I heard the results and I should have never heard the results. As an 11-year-old boy or 10-year-old, whatever age I was, I would be like 12 years old or something like that. Um, he basically said, when Tim gets through school, you need to send him to get a trade. He's just going to have to get a trade job. Basically, what I heard was he's going to have a job with his name on his shirt. That's the best he's ever going to do. And it was because something in my mind clicked out. The system don't work.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And while age 11, we don't know that. Later in life, after being laid off or losing jobs or things like that, and I remember the toughest part for me that clicked me back in was in 1990, I went to drive truck, which I loved. It was the one job I loved. I drove 18-wheeler all over the eastern side of the United States. And I loved the job. And my truck had an engine problem. So my truck was in the shop and they asked me to be like the yard jockey at a close by plant that we actually took a lot of things on. I would hook up a trailer, take it down, get it loaded up, put it up in line, but set all the paperwork up. And I was going to do that for a week while my truck was getting engine work done to it. The first day on that job, I had a head injury and had a seizure.
Oh,
If you
good.
have an epileptic seizure, your commercial driver's license is pulled. You cannot drive
Um,
tractor
yeah.
trailer. It is done. That head injury gave me a version of epilepsy that
Wow.
I have had to live with. Well, I went into depression mode. How am I going to, because it was the first job I can actually support my family and live on.
Hmm.
How am I going to do this?
And you
And a
said you
friend,
loved it too.
I did, yeah. A
Yeah.
friend of mine came along and offered, showed me a multi-level marketing deal. where I got an education of being an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
All right. And a lot of people pick on network marketing type things or multi-level marketing things. Some of them, some of them, not all of them, some of them, there's good, there's bad, there's ugly in those as well. Some of them teach you to actually go out and better yourself.
Absolutely.
And that was where I learned to better myself. That's where I learned to read books again and study things. And in studying, I learned, okay, I'm an entrepreneur. One of
And
the
I just
books,
want to say really quick, same thing happened for me. I was in a multi-level marketing company
yeah.
and I learned so much about myself. I mean, it's
Hmm.
if you get in the right place with the right people, personal development, business, all of it. I totally agree with you.
That's, well, you get it. That's it. I mean, that's where most people, and I put it even down, personal development down to it, even further level down. I want to put it down. Your listeners who are listening today, if you sit down and go, well, no, I'm just going to work my job because I'm comfortable here. I'm not going to go learn this and I'm not going to develop myself any better. Well, what if? Just what if? Follow me on this scenario for a minute. You didn't do that. You decided to be someone who is just another mechanic, just another fireman, just another policeman, just another factory worker, if you will. And you didn't decide to grow yourself. And the person who needs your help 10 years from now, they can't connect to Tony Robbins, too far away to get it.
Hmm.
They can't find a Heather. They can't find a Tim. What if you were the only connection to save their life? But you chose to just, nah, I don't need that.
That's very
Because
powerful.
2 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, you don't know where you're going to be needed. And if you didn't learn what you needed to learn today,
Mm.
5 years from now, there's somebody else who probably needs you to encourage them to go through.
Wow. That is so powerful. And I hope that people hear it and really think because a lot of times, why didn't they go for it? It's fear holding them back because the brain says, stay safe. You're good here. You don't have to. But 99% of the time you step out of it and you step into the thing and it's so incredibly beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Heather, I will teach that message there all day long. It's one of the reasons I do websites is
Mhm.
as I did the website division to help take care of the website because it's, you got to have marketing. You know what I mean? I do the coaching or mentoring because I believe people need to have a business of their own or have something on the side that they
Mhm.
need to be doing. Um, that is what my passion is. I go to these events all the times and people say, well, this is my why.
Mhm.
Well, my why is I don't know who the next person is I need to help. I love my family. I love my wife. I love my grandsons. I love my kids. I love my stepsons. All right. But my why is I don't know who I need to help that
Mhm.
needs to help somebody
Yeah.
later in life. And if I
Yep.
don't help them, they're not going to help somebody else.
Right.
And that
That's
eliminates the whole problem that I think God put us all on this earth for.
mm,
My message is not, well, do it my way and you can have a Ferrari. No. Do it my way and you can live in a mansion. No.
mm,
All right. I live in a ratty old house that my wife and I are trying to fix up to have a better life in. Right. We don't live in any mansion. We struggle. All right. I drive an F-150 pickup. You know what I mean? I'm not driving a Ferrari,
mm.
and I'm never going to be the guy who brags about that. I want to be the guy who goes, okay, well, how do I help you?
Yeah.
Who you need to help?
Yep. And the
That's my
message
message.
of who you need to help because then they can help somebody else, that's
Yeah.
really, really powerful and
Mm.
incredibly meaningful.
Yeah.
And I hope
So
people are hearing that and really thinking about that because it's not about you, it's about helping humanity. It's about helping others. It's about making this a better place to be.
it is.
What do you
All
think
right.
is actually holding people back from doing that? Like fear. What fear do you think might be holding people back?
Um, it's the pain that's on the other side of it.
Mm.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to be honest with the world here. And again, I love my grandson. This morning, when I knew he was going to be up sick, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got this thing to do with Heather today. I'm how am I going to balance this?
Hmm.
So, I mean, my wife came home, but I got up this morning. I'm going to still take him to coffee because I go have my coffee every morning at Starbucks. That is my 30 minutes apiece.
Hmm.
And I come back home. We got home here at 9:15 my time. My wife got here at 10:17. And I come in because I still had stuff to do. I still have this whole checklist of things I have to do today. Um, and he came in probably over 30 times and interrupted me.
Mm.
30 times. Not easy, and it's very frustrating to
Yep.
go.
You want to have your
But
own temper tantrum, right?
yeah, I do. But that's a struggle that I had to go through
Hmm.
because it's painful.
Yeah.
I want the easy way to go solve this problem. No, it's painful. And he come in here, four of his times he come in there was hurt, hurt, hurt. What hurts? What hurts? What hurts? Because he's hurting.
Mm.
And most people will not go through what they need to go through because of the hurt, because of the pain,
Yeah.
right? We're looking for the easy button,
Hmm.
right? There's not always an easy button.
A lot of people do not want to sit in stillness even for a moment, and hear their own thoughts
Yeah.
because they're terrified of their own thoughts, because maybe they fear they're failing, maybe they feel that they're not good enough, maybe they fear that to do this thing is going to actually be successful, and I'm not ready for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I grew up in Christian-based home, and
Hmm.
one of the things I heard early on from a preacher was fear and faith.
Mm.
The two of them cannot live in existence at the same time. So if you're in your body and you're living in fear, you are not living in faith. And I do notice as my Christian faith taught me faith, right? I know that one of the verses of the Bible, God said, I will be taken care of. You know what I mean? It's just, it's as a Christian, it says God will supply all your needs. Doesn't say he's going to give me a Ferrari and a Lamborghini, but he says he's going to supply my needs.
Hmm.
So I live on that faith. All right. And my wife and I, trust me, we both struggle with that sometimes. Right. And luckily, this is the greatest thing about a marriage. Luckily, the days usually I'm struggling with it, she's not.
Mm.
The days she's
Yeah.
struggling with it, I'm not. That's
Yep.
the
I
that's
can
where you have
say I've had the same exact experience in my marriage.
yeah. So and
And
that's
it's great because, in my life right now, my husband had to be there for me a lot and very accepting of who I was, because when we got together, I was just getting out of my home where things were insane,
mhm,
and I had no idea who I was. I just knew I
yeah.
was very angry, depressed a lot. And he allowed me to be and
Yeah.
just kind of held space for me. And now I'm doing the same for him. So for some things that he's going through. And what's beautiful is what I've learned through my life with him by my side has put me in the position where I can be there for him now and do the same
Yeah.
thing for him. And I think that's a really, really beautiful thing in a marriage or a friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we talked about failure a bit and fear of failure. What do you think has pushed you the most in your life? Was it fear and getting past it? Do you think it was desire to do something different?
Um, I want to say that probably, I don't know, probably the most unique thing that's pushed me through a lot of it. Yeah, yes, I've had the fear. Many
Mm,
times I've had the fear and trying to get past it was very tough.
mm,
And sometimes I had to, try several different things and fail to go through and make it work. Um, the failure in life, I do have a fear of failure because of the fact that, I mean, come on, I sold $1 million business in 2004, and the end of 2005 I was homeless and living in my car. All right. Um, and there's been a lot of times that I've worried that that's going to happen again,
mhm,
and I've tried to set up things so that it doesn't, but we're not always good at learning from our mistakes. Sometimes we have to repeat them.
mhm,
So, I mean, I worry that I'm going to repeat them. Um, but I don't know. I'm still chewing on this, Heather. I really am.
mm. It's a big question.
I know. One of my lowest points was that 2004, 2005 time frame where I was losing everything. And I remember because I was living in the car and I actually had my mail forwarded to a friend's house. And I would go by that friend's house and pick up my mail. And I still I have not talked to since 2010. I've not talked to this man or his wife, and they were good friends with me at the time. 2010, my whole world looked different. I was a little more confident. I
Mhm.
was progressing into things and moving forward. I was out speaking and moving forward with what I was doing. And he just called me up. He goes, "Man, I want to have coffee with you." And he sat down. He goes, "Man, I've seen you at your lowest point, and seeing you now is two different people. How did you get here?"
Mm.
And my answer was to him that I knew I had to do something. So why not swing for the park? Swing for going out of the park on this thing, if you use the baseball analogy. So I tried things, right? And I said, I'm confident in what I do, but I'm not as successful as I want to be.
Mhm.
So I just keep driving forward to go.
Yep.
Till this day, I'm confident in things I can do, but I'm not as successful as I want to be. So I keep trying. And to put the best example is so our property here, or when we bought this house in 2022, we bought 25 trees to put up on the property in different areas. Five of them are still alive.
Mm.
That's an analogy for my life.
Mhm.
I will make 25 tries and maybe five success stories.
And I
And
think that's important for people to hear is that just because you try doesn't mean you're going to succeed. But
mm,
if you don't try, you won't have
you
those
won't,
five
yeah,
trees.
yeah. And Wayne Gretzky, you will miss 100% of the goals you don't take.
Hmm. Absolutely.
And um, yeah, I try for things and still go through a lot of pain.
Mm.
I have kids, I have grandkids. So yes, I have kids who they're going to never end give you pain.
Hmm.
They just will. Um, my mother's still alive, and there's times that my mother gives me encouragement, and there's times I want to beat my mother senseless. Yes, we have that thing in life that you know what I mean. Yes, one day we feel great, next day we feel like crap. So,
Hmm.
but I keep trying things. Um, Perfect example right here of trying things. I
Hmm.
can't play a guitar. I just can't. I don't know. I'm not coordinated enough to figure it out, and I keep trying.
Hmm.
One of the things I built that during the pandemic. That
Wow.
one there I built during the pandemic. I bought a kit, put it together, strung it up, cleaned it up, did everything it said on the things to figure out how a guitar works. I
Mm.
understand a little bit more about how it works. Still can't play it.
Mm.
So what I did was is I did a speech one time where I was at an event and the guy there one of the guys in the event was a music instructor. So I took the guitar, I took the amp, and I went to the event and I said, you know what I mean? One of the things I did learn in life is that when you're frustrated enough that it takes you 95 tries to figure it out and you still can't figure it out, go do the one thing you're really good at and pay
Hmm.
somebody to do that.
Hmm.
That's why I have a website company.
Yeah.
Trust me, folks, if you did your own website, it shows.
Hmm.
I built a website company to be able to do and run and maintain websites.
Hmm.
Now, I don't do my own books. Trust me, my bookkeeper really frustrates the crap out of me sometimes, but I don't do my own books. Why? Because I suck at doing my books.
Hmm. Yep.
My wife, in the early years of our business, my wife did my taxes. And the frustration my wife would go through, I'm like, don't want to go through that. I now pay someone to do the taxes,
Yep.
right? You learn, you go find other ways to make money and pay for someone's services to do that one
Absolutely. You
task.
don't want to get stuck in the weeds of something that you don't
Yeah.
do well. If you can find somebody who does do it well, and it's their zone of genius, and it pays in
Yeah.
spades to pay them to do that, and you can free yourself up to do what it is
Yes.
you do.
Yes.
And
And
that's
that's
why
why,
I'm grateful that my husband's an accountant and he does all that stuff. I have to have an understanding of it, yes. But that's his zone of genius. Here you go. For me, that's just mind numbing.
yes.
Yeah.
There's so many things in my life that are that way, Heather. They're
Hmm.
mind numbing. I don't want to do them. I don't want to. They frustrate me and I
Mhm.
put them off. But there's things that I enjoy doing
Yeah.
and I can do very well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and over the years, I mean, not to be that weird braggy thing, but like, I've probably written 60 or 70, maybe even 700, I don't know, informational products for other coaches.
Hmm.
Because I can take and grab your personality real quick and come up with a whole outline for you. And I just do it.
Hmm.
My website clients, I come up with a whole system for them to get opt-ins, whole system for them to get leads for their business.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm good at.
Hmm.
All right. Ask me to go sell your product. I will starve.
Hmm.
I suck as a salesman. My wife is a great salesperson. She sells to hospital CEOs that they need to outsource their gift shops. Me, I have a rough time selling you on the fact that you need to put this seed on your grass today.
Hmm.
It's just it's hard.
I can
But I
relate.
but I learned marketing.
Hmm.
Marketing is you build a ton of leads so that if I need to close 2 sales this month, I've got 15 people to choose from. Who am I going to? It's a
Hmm.
lot easier when you have 15 to choose from.
Yeah.
And that's what I do is I just learned how to market better so I have a never ending thing of leads.
Yeah.
Um, and many a months, trust me, my lead source is not full enough. I need more.
And it's all about stepping into your authenticity, being who you are, who you're
Yeah.
supposed to be, not pretending to be somebody else, not saying you can do things that you can't deliver on. And that is the most important thing about alignment is
Mhm.
you need to be aligned with what it is you're doing, and it needs to light you up. And I actually did a post about this today. What lights you up? What makes you feel alive? So, Tim, what makes you feel alive?
For years, it was riding motorcycle.
Mm.
Um, I got to say now it's the little things. So, my wife and I like to take little road trips.
Hmm.
Um, this past 2 years have been 2 tough years for us. We haven't, but last year, I had to go to an event in Palm Springs, California. So I drove out there. My wife, after she got done her week of travel, flew to Palm Springs, came with me, stayed at my hotel for the few days where I was at the event, and then we left and we took a road trip back home.
Mm.
For years, it was road tripping on the motorcycles. Now I kind of like it in the truck.
Hmm.
So we've got an enclosed thing. So when it rains, it snows, it
Yeah.
sleets, all right, we're kind of enclosed now. Um, but it was a unique experience. We got last year, it was about this time last year, it was beginning of May last year, that we were coming back from that trip. And we went to Amarillo, which she was born and raised in the Amarillo area and lived in Canyon, Texas for years. But in Amarillo, in downtown Amarillo, there was this hotel that was featured on the TV show Yellowstone called the Barfield. So we went and stayed there and had dinner there. We went to the speakeasy in the basement. All
Mm.
right. And those little experiences, that's what lights me up.
Hmm.
My wife and I go to do these little experiences. Um, we, for the longest time, would go to like downtown Fort Worth when we had theater tickets. We would go to Fort Worth. We'd stay in downtown Fort Worth, get an extra night, and go to dinner. All right. And then go to brunch and stay the night. We had a hotel that we had, it was a favorite. That is what lights me up
Hmm.
to do that. So recently, because I said it's been 2 tight years financially,
Hmm.
is Friday night we went to sushi at a new sushi place. All right, and literally, it's the little enjoyments like that I love
Hmm.
doing. So my wife will tell you she would love to learn to make sushi at home. I want to go out for it.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, yep, and that's funny. It's something different lights everybody else up, and I think
Yeah.
that's so beautiful. And if you can do what you love to do, what your
Yeah.
passion is in your life to make a living, to kind of do your own thing, and really feel good and happy and in alignment with yourself and know who you are, being able to do those little things, being able
Mhm.
to light yourself up, even if it's not through your job specifically, finding those things that light you up, that makes
Mhm.
all the difference in the world in your life.
You
I
know,
think that's great.
and early on in my speaking career, I got a lesson on that. Do you remember Larry Wingett,
Hmm.
the pitbull? So Larry Wingett was on my podcast in the early days. And I asked Larry that question. Larry, do you enjoy what you do? And I'll bet you never guess what Larry's answer was.
Did he say
Larry's,
no?
he said, no, I do not
Oh,
like what I do.
Wow.
And I said, wait, what? I mean, because you think of Larry Wingett and the way he is on stage, the way he's in life, the way he is in personality. I'm like, wait, what? He says, Tim, what I do is I get up at 4 in the morning. I drive to the airport. I park my car. I have to go through this line of security so that I can get on an airplane. I have to sit it there when the airplane's not ready and wait for the airplane to take off. Then I have to sit on a 2.5, 3 hour flight to go to some place, cramped into a spot. I can't get up and move around. I don't like it. So then I get to where I'm going to go. I get off the plane. Now I have to go through, go down to his place, stay there and wait for my bag. He described his whole trip and all the little nuances that go in the trip.
Mm,
He says, I got to do all of that for that 1 hour of what I like to do is stand on stage and speak to people.
mm,
And he put it in perspective to go, you know what? You're going to have to do something you don't like.
yeah.
And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that was huge for me. I mean, I was lucky. I was like, I wish I had that recording.
Mm,
I lost the recordings on my early days podcast was on Blog Talk Radio, which last year Blog Talk Radio shut down and I never downloaded my files.
mm,
I thought they would be there forever. And I went from there to a radio station in Phoenix, Arizona, and they just deleted my files because they were
wow.
pissed off at the person who referred me to them. To where now I have all my recordings.
Hmm. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, but Larry told me that I wasn't in 2 years, maybe 2.5, 3 years into speaking. And that was an eye opener when you talk
Mm,
about finding what you love, because you're going to have to do a ton of shit you don't like
hmm.
for that thing you love.
Yes. And that's kind of a good analogy to life. There are definitely, the life is the journey. Life is
Hmm.
not when I get to this point, when I get here, when I get there. It's those moments of going out for sushi. It's the moments of looking at the hummingbird at your hummingbird feeder. It's all of the moments. And part of all of that is not always beautiful and pleasant and wonderful. And that's just part of the journey. But if you can do those things and do the thing that you love, that's power.
Yeah.
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 So you talk about your podcast. I would love for you to be able to share with everybody that's listening a little bit about how they can listen to you on your podcast and how they can get in touch with you.
So I do have two podcasts. One is the Tim Gillette Show, which the logo is new. It's not that's my old logo. I just haven't changed that out behind me. It's Tim Gillette Show, and I interview the most interesting entrepreneurs and hear their stories from around the world. All right. I've had people on from Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, and just hearing their stories and telling their stories. I love it. So it's timgilletteshow.com. We'll take you to that show. The other podcast I have is on Monday nights. We record it live, and we did it last night, even though it was Memorial Day. It's
Mm.
called Like the Way You Drink. We have a podcast where we actually have taste food and alcoholic beverages on a podcast every week. We put together a
Um,
combination. Next week, I think we're doing strawberries. Everything's
Wow.
got a strawberry into it. So it's a very unique pairing of stuff.
That's fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We've been doing it since 2021. And my partner is in Portland, Oregon.
Hmm.
And just it's something we met at a mastermind event and found out that we were both into stuff. And like last night, we did barbecue ribs and stuff and talked about Memorial Day.
Hmm.
We did stuff for Mother's Day. We have a famous, every year we do in March, we do a Guinness and shepherd's pie episode.
Hmm.
Every year in Thanksgiving, we do a Thanksgiving episode. Like every year, we have certain themes that we do on a regular basis. We've been doing it for 4 years. And that is the one that I have a ton of fun with.
Yeah.
And literally you can go likethewayyoudrink.com
Love it.
and see that podcast. So
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much for that. And my final question for you is
mhm.
what does living a life beyond BS mean or look like to you?
Living a life beyond BS means get off your ass and do something.
Mm,
All right. Um, what you do today might not amount to what you want it to be,
hmm.
but if you do something today, get past it. All right. If you don't like the way your industry is going and it's full of BS, then you have now been knighted as the person who needs to change it.
Mm, beautiful.
which Michael Butler told me in 2021 when I sat in my mentor's living room and said I quit.
Hmm.
And Michael Butler and Craig Duswalt, who's been my mentor for years, took me aside, and Michael said, Tim, when you're frustrated with an industry, that means that you're the person who's supposed to change it. So if you're fed up with the BS, look in the mirror. There's the guy who needs to change it.
That's a great, great take. I love that so much. Thank you. So, I want to thank you for being here today with me and sharing your wisdom, sharing your authenticity. I love that.
Mhm.
And before I sign off, I'd love to invite all of my listeners to head over to my website, heathermcnally.com, and download my free new alignment workbook. It's designed to help you break through the noise, reconnect with yourself, and start making choices that feel more aligned and intentional and true to who you really are. And I want to thank you so much for sharing the space today with me and with Tim. My hope is that you walk away knowing that you have the power to choose differently. Go live fully, freely, and unapologetically. Your life beyond BS starts now. I'm so grateful you were here today. Remember, your peace, joy, and happiness aren't found in the BS. They're found in your choices. If this episode spoke to you, please rate, review, follow, and subscribe, and share it with a friend. For ways to connect or work with me, check the show notes or visit heathermcnally.com. Until next time, keep choosing you and keep living your life beyond BS.